Hello everyone, new patch just came out for Deadlock, and in this patch there's a lot of very cool changes. The most important change, they're adding a ranked mode, which means every single region is going to have their own ranked mode. If you're in America, you can choose East Coast or West Coast, and then you're going to be able to play from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. every single day. So basically you're going to have 6 hours of ranked every day if you want to play. You can choose whichever server you want to, but you can only choose one server a week. So if you want to change from EU to NA or one NA server to another NA server, you have to wait a week before you can change it. And I think this is going to be a massive change. Rank for Deadlock is going to be super fun. It's limited time period, which means people are going to try hard super much. Like, it's going to be crazy. Because everybody's going to be thinking, I only have 6 hours to play this mode. I'm going to do my best. We don't know how it's going to work with Champ Select or Hero Select. We don't know if there's going to be bans and picks, but I assume there's going to be bans and picks, and hopefully it's going to be a good experience. They're probably going to change it up a lot all the time. Maybe there's going to be quick hotfixes and other things. Then after that, there's a lot of niche general changes, which are not too important. The first one is just a third casting mode, quick cast. Shows range radius each C on key down. I mean, that's kind of nice. It shows basically how long the range is if you're holding the key down. Then there's input buffing, which is nice because if you want to use multiple abilities, you can do so. So you can buffer the abilities one after another. Now another thing, they show a unique ID for all builds, which means if a streamer or YouTuber has a build for a hero, they can make an ID for it, and then you can just pop that into the search, and you're going to find it immediately. You don't need the name anymore. You don't have to actually search, because sometimes other people keep the same name as you, and there'll be 5 builds with the same name. Then some private lobby stuff, not too important. Most people won't really interact with private lobbies, so it doesn't really matter. Certain heroes now have a high priority in dual lanes, either in Dynamo, which means supportive heroes are going to be in the middle lanes, and carries are going to be in side lanes, more so. Pausing is no longer allowed in the first 3 minutes, which, I mean, this only stops people from pausing and then, or from starting a queue, going AFK, and then coming back. It's probably a good change. It's going to make the game start faster. And then there's a bunch of Misc changes that nobody really cares about. It's not a big deal. It's nice fixes. That's about all it is. Maybe some different sounds and other things. Now the gameplay. Troopers attack range versus lane guardians reduced from 13.5 to 12 meters, which means now troopers are going to be closer to the guardian, and it's going to be easier for you to last hit if you're on the defensive side. Players now need to be within 19 meters. So basically, you're going to have to be above the ramp. You can't staircase abuse and have infinite bullets. It's going to take a lot longer to kill the Guardians, and the laning phase is overall going to be slightly longer now. Guardians now take 70% less damage from troopers at the start of the game. This reduces by 10% per minute, so nobody's going to take the turrets in 2 minutes. It's going to stay up for a long time. They're prolonging laning phases, and they want a stable laning phase. Guardians damage versus players increased by 20%. Sometimes before, especially in 1v1 lanes, you'd get dove by one guy at 3k souls when he gets his ultimate, and there was nothing you could do because his hero is just better. This is going to be slightly good for that. Besides that, I don't think it's a big change. Overall, it's probably a nice little change. Medium camps. Spawn time changed from 7 minutes to 5 minutes. This is a huge buff to heroes that can clear camps. For example, Infernus, you can skill your 2 twice, the dash, and then you can clear every single medium camp easily. You need like a few bullets on the big ones, and the small ones you instant clear. This is a massive buff to every hero that can clear camps early. Hard camp spawn time changed from 7 minutes to 8 minutes. I assume that's the big ones. Teleporters open time changed from 10 minutes to 8 minutes. So it's all the teleporters. I think it's a good change. They want the early game to be slightly faster, but they want the early game to be more stable. So what they're doing is they're changing, so it's harder to kill Guardians, it's harder to end the laning phase, but they don't want you to be stuck for 10 minutes. Trooper spawn bounty lane end time changed from 10 minutes to 8 minutes as well. Vault spawn time interval changed from 10 to 5. Now it's 8 to 4 minutes. So basically it's going to start spawning at minute 8 instead of 10, and then every 4 minutes it's going to spawn a new one after you kill it. Golden statues and breakable spawn time changed from 3 minutes to 2 minutes. This is huge. You're going to have to be farming statues a lot, and you're going to have to farm boxes a lot. I don't know if this is good or not. I think people are going to farm too many boxes maybe, especially in the late game. Golden Statue's bonus upgrade time changed from 15 minutes to 10 minutes. So basically before you had weaker buffs early, then you get stronger, and now you're going to get even stronger as well. Golden Statues now have your free upgrade at 25 minutes, plus 2.5 fire rate, plus 8% ammo, plus 1.5% cooldown reduction, and plus 7% weapon damage, plus 40 health, plus 5 spirit power, respectively. Each one is going to get one of them, right? And I think it's a 40% drop chance or something like that. If you get the 40 health or the 7% weapon damage, those are huge. Like late game or even spirit power. Late game statues are king. After minute 25, you want to focus on getting a lot of statue kills because these upgrades are huge. Think about it. An orange item, 500 gold, which also costs a slot, gives you 6% weapon damage, plus whatever it gives you, right? Like headshot booster gives you some fire rate as well, and then it also gives you the headshot damage, right? But that's for 500 gold. One statue gives you the 7% weapon damage by itself. That's huge. You need like 2 to 3 statues to be equal to 500 gold, I think. Mid-boss now has 15% health regen, so you can't just make it low and then just leave and then kill it again. That's good. Mid-boss creep buffs rescale from 70% to 50, 70, 90% for the first, second, and third boss kill. So basically, whenever you kill the boss, it's gonna scale and make your minions better. So the first kill, not a big deal. If you kill it early game, nobody really cares much. But if you get to the third boss, it's gonna be a game-ending scenario. Your minions are gonna be insanely powerful. Regen respawn rescale from 50% to 40, 50, 60. Same as above. It's just gonna scale on how many times the boss has died. Urn now causes the runner to be revealed on the map, so you can't sneak urns anymore. Heavy melee against the urn runner now causes them to drop the urn, so you can go in, smack somebody, and steal it. Urn delivery now gives each player in the team a golden statue permanent buff. And we just talked about the buffs being insane after minute 25, so late game urns are nuts. Because if it's a 40% drop rate on the golden statues, that means you're getting 12 golden statues for one urn delivery, right? 5 buffs should be 12. Urn bounty increased by 15%, a little bit better. And now it also falls from the sky faster. Comeback formula weighted a bit less on the team versus team net worth calculations and more on the strength of the dying hero. If you're dominating, don't die. If you're feeding, yeah, you can keep feeding a little bit. It's not too big of a deal. It's basically all they're doing. Percent of deniable orbs from objectives for guardians, walkers, patrons, shrines rescale from blah 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 to 35%. So basically just click the orbs. Click the orbs. Orbs are really important. They're very powerful. Always click the orbs. Shields no longer reduce damage or get depleted by NPC units. I don't know what this means. All heroes' move speed increased by 0.3%. So enduring speed is going to be less important. It's also nerfed by 0.3. It's basically going to have the exact same as before if you buy it. But if you don't, you're going to be a little bit faster. Bullet and Spirit lifesteal now stack diminishingly. This is huge. People can't just buy infinite lifesteal and be a mega tank with infinite healing. But I still think Leech is going to be crazy good. It's not going to be enough for it to really matter. Teleport is now grant plus free movement speed for 5 seconds. Good for ganking. You teleport, you gank, you can get a lot of value. Especially on the side lanes. Plus 3 movement speed is huge. It gives you a massive opportunity for a good gank. And that's about it. And then the updated locations. There's a teleport on the side lanes. And there's also like underground. Nothing crazy. Changed underground teleports to go between subway and tunnel on the same side of the map. Yeah. Widen stairs from shrines back to the player spawn area. They changed a lot of the staircases in the game. There's a lot of staircases, especially the laning ones. They're a little bit bigger now too. It doesn't show a screenshot of that, but I did play a game and they are indeed a little bit bigger. Now we get to the weapon items. Monster rounds, restorative shot, and basic magazine. Weapon damage versus NPCs reduced from 35 to 30%. Weapon damage reduced from 8 to 7%. Ammo increased from 24 to 26%. I mentioned all 3 at once because none of these changes matter. They don't do anything. It's such a small nerf that if you buy the item, you're still going to buy it. And if you didn't buy the item, you're not going to start buying them. Melee charge cooldown increased from 10.5 to 16 seconds. It matters, but it matters so little. So again, as above, if you buy this item, you're going to buy it anyways. Long range ammo increased from 20% to 25%. Again, doesn't matter. Tesla bullet spear scaling increased from 0.13 to 0.16. Now this is interesting. There could be a scenario where you want to buy Tesla bullets on heroes like 7 now, because it actually does make a big difference. So maybe you want Tesla bullets on 7. I would have to test it in game, but nobody was buying them before. Maybe they're viable now, but the only way to really know is to test it in game. It's not a massive buff, but it is definitely a good buff. Alchemical fire now behaves like other grenades and does not bounce off walls. Alchemical fire base damage increased from 45 to 55 damage, which means if you use this item, it's going to be a lot stronger. It's a huge buff. It's a massive buff. I think of all, Alchemical fire was one of the really good items, and now it might actually be one of the like super good items. Toxic bullets build-up is now 15% slower, so it takes a little bit longer to apply toxic bullets. I played Infernus my last game where I just played, and it felt faster, so I don't know if they miswrote this or what happened. I'm not sure, but honestly, it's not going to be a big difference. 15%, you will be fine. Frenzy, low health threshold, increased from 40% to 50%. Good change, big buff, not enough to make anyone who doesn't buy it already buy it. Doesn't really matter. Ricochet range reduced from 14 to 11 meters. Rico is good. Still gonna be good. 11 meters is really big. It's still gonna be really fucking good. It doesn't change it enough for anyone to stop buying it. Silencer. Spirit power increased from 12 to 18. That's a decent buff. But I think you only want to buy Silencer if you have Rico. And I don't think you want to have both items because they're too expensive. So I don't think this changes anything. I don't really see anyone buying it. Maybe there's going to be some niche cases, but I don't think it's because of the change here. It's not like it has insane stats, and 18 spirit power is not enough to make it have insane stats. So yeah. Vampire Burst added ammo and active increased from plus 50 to plus 75, so more ammo, nobody cares. Cooldown reduced from 37 to 34, again, nobody cares, dude. Like cooldown, I mean, you have it every time you need it. Spiritual Overflow no longer grants plus 20% fire rate. Upon full build up, grants plus 35% fire rate. This could be a really good item. This could be good. 35 is huge. Activated Spirit Power increased from plus 45 to 50. I think overall this could be a good item. It doesn't take that long to build up, but at the same time, 20% fire rate lose is kind of oof before you get to build up, right? I think overall this is not a big deal, but it does buff it a little bit in the right situations. Vitality items. Healing Rite regen duration increased from 17 to 19 seconds. It does the same healing. It just takes a little bit longer. Easier to cancel somebody and a little bit less healing every single second, obviously. Extra regen. I think this item is overpowered. It makes your lane super safe. And it got buffed from 2.8 to 3 seconds, which means 1 more health every 5 seconds. That's a big buff. It's actually huge. You're going to get so much more health in the lane phase. It's like 12 every minute. That's big. And then you get a little bit more ammo. Again, nobody cares. Extra stamina. Stamina recoil increased from 14 to 16. Fire rate reduced from 7 to 6. And now it gives 25 health. I don't think this makes anyone want to buy it who didn't already do it. Doesn't really make it better or worse. It's pretty much the exact same. I don't see a difference. Extra health. Weapon damage increased from 5% to 6%. I bought this item a lot. I think it's good. It's a little bit better. But 1%, I mean, you get one statue late game at 7%. I mean, this doesn't matter. Nobody cares. I mean, who cares? Enduring speed, we already talked about this one. Slow resist reduced from 40% to 35%. So slows are a little bit better. But again, I mean, it's not a big deal. Restorative Locket. Spirit resist increased from 8% to 10%. And now grants 1 plus 1 sprint. This item sucks. And this item's still gonna suck, and nobody's gonna buy it. Return fire cooldown increased from 25 seconds to 30 seconds. Active bullet resist reduced from 25 to 20%. Return fire is OP. In the right situations, it's extremely overpowered. Cooldown, it doesn't matter. You're gonna use it when you use it. Active bullet resist reduced from 25 to 20 seconds does matter a lot. Because that means it's now weaker than bullet armor, I think. Bullet armor should be 25% still. And the more resist you have, the more powerful it is. So nerfing bullet resist on an item is a huge difference. Every single resistance nerf is just gonna be huge. I think this is not going to make the item unusable, but it will make it more in line with other items because it was slightly overpowered. It had too many stats. Health Nova, Spirit Power increased from +4 to +6. Good. I was considering buying this item on Mirage or other heroes. I think it's a decent item, probably underused. And having a little bit more Spirit Power is nice. Not a big difference, but it's nice. Combat Barrier, weapon damage reduced from 25 to 22%. Doesn't matter, who cares? Fortitude, health increased from 300 to 325. Again, nobody cares. Life Track, heal increased from 55 to 65%. That is a big deal. If you do manage to hit people, I think it works nicely. But the problem is I don't see anyone buying this item. It's very rare. And I don't think you're going to see more people buy it because of 10% more healing. It's just not enough. And you can get parried. It's really not enough. Superior Stamina. Stamina recovery increased from 20% to 25%. Same as above. I mean, people that bought this item still going to buy it, but it's very few people and it's not going to change anything. Walker speed increased from 3 to 4. Better ganks. I think they want Walker to be a ganking item. So it's going to be slightly better for that. But that's it. It's not going to be something that people start buying again. It's not as OP as it used to be. And it's probably never going there again because people hated it. Majestic Leap. Cooldown increased from 23 to 26 seconds. I don't think it matters. People weren't spam using it. And you can still use it every single wave. So it's not a big difference. Rescue Beam cast range reduced from 36 to 32 meters. I think Rescue Beam should be 20 meters. Reducing from 36 to 32 is not going to change how it's used. People are still going to use it the same way. It's still longer than a Bebop hook. Right, it's longer than Bebop hook, and Bebop hook is enormous. Nobody's gonna not use it because of this. Lead's weapon damage increased from +15 to +20. Lead's Spirit Power increased from +12 to +18. Massive buff. Lead's is one of the best items in my opinion in the game, and they just made it better. People are gonna use this a lot. People are gonna keep buying it. I don't think it's gonna make many people buy it who didn't before, but maybe you're gonna see niche situations. Like a Mirage or other heroes like that who didn't really want it might buy it because of the buff. Because the buff is nice. It's a good buff. And every single hero buying it, I'm going to be massively happy, right? It's a really, really nice buff. Siphon Bullet's health steal per bullet increased from 45 to 50. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to use it. The people that use it are still going to use it, but it's so niche. I rarely see this item. Extra Spirit. Spirit Power increased from 9 to 10. Nice. They've been keeping on increasing Spirit Power every single patch, it feels. And honestly, I think when I started the game, these items were terrible. Now Extra Spirit is actually really nice. It's super good, and it's just a little bit better. Overall, it's nice. But a lot of heroes don't have good scaling with it, so it's probably going to be like half a damage more per ability cost on most heroes. Some heroes maybe like 1 to 2. Ammo Scavenger. Spirit Power per soul reduced from 2 to 1. Max stacks increased from 10 to 20, so it's equally strong, but you need double the stacks. I mean, this kind of just makes the item shit, I think. I don't see why I would buy this item. Just buy something else that's better. Willing Whip no longer grants health. Willing Whip now grants 100 bullet shield. Cooldown reduced from 26 to 22 seconds. Nobody uses this item. And nobody's going to use this item. They have to do something to make it so much better. Because right now, every other item is just better. Every other active is far superior to Willing Whip. I don't think I've seen a single person use it in my last 50 games. And this changes absolutely nothing. Nobody cares about 4-second cooldown on this item. Cold Front. Cooldown reduced from 34 to 28 seconds. It's a decent item, a nice buff. Again, nobody's going to use it because of this. People just use it if they already used it. Mystic Vulnerabilities fixed its stacking with escalating exposure, so it just makes it better. Slowing Hex slow reduced from 30% to 25%. It's nice, I mean. Makes it harder to gank people, makes it harder to kill people, but the people that buy it are still gonna buy it. It's one of the best items, it's super good. And it's one of the items, if you want an active item, it's one of the items you generally want to get. It just helps you a lot in the games. Improved Spirit. Spirit Power increased from +23 to +28. Another Spirit item there, buff. 5 more Spirit Power. I think this item low-key sucked. And this probably makes it good. Because I think it was kind of like just too low. And I did buy late game sometimes, but I didn't really like buying it. Especially not early game. But this kind of just bumps it up to like, this is a good item now. I think it's a nice change. Improved burst, max health damage reduced from 9% to 7%. I'm never buying this item again. I think 7% sucks. 10% was what it was before, and it was insane. Now it's 7%, that's a 30% nerf. It's never gonna be what. I'm never buying this item. I don't think it's good. I think you guys should probably not buy it either, unless you have a hero and you play a hero a lot, where it just excels, but it's too much of a nerf. Knockdown, cooldown reduced from 48 to 40 seconds, doesn't matter. Ethereal Shift can no longer end it early. This is a huge change because when you play against Ethereal Shift, you always wanted to, or if you played it, you always want to end it early so people can't time it. But now people can learn the timer and can be like 1, 2, 3, bam, you know? And they can actually hit you immediately. And this is a massive change because you're going to get hit by abilities. Using it as a double-edged sword now, where before it was just an advantage. Torment Pulse. Pulse intervals are now fixed and does not get reduced with cooldown reduction. Nice. Doesn't get abused by more Krills. Superior cooldown now grants 100 Spirit Shield. Doesn't matter. If you buy this item, you're going to buy it anyways. If you didn't buy it, you're not going to buy it. It's a good item, and it's a nice buff. I like it. It helps some heroes like 7 be a little bit stronger, but 100 Spirit Shield is not going to change any team fight. Escalating exposure. Spirit resist on damage reduced from 15 to 12. Basically, you just reduce their spirit resist, right? Ampere stack reduced from 6 to 5. Duration reduced from 15 to 12. So duration doesn't matter much, but the rest is a big nerf because you're going to get a lot of stacks and it actually helps you do a tremendous amount of damage and you won't be able to do that anymore. Refresher cooldown increased from 212 seconds to 230. Mystic Reverb slow reduced from 50% to 40%. Neither of these two changes matters. Nobody's going to care. Hero changes. Abrams. Abrams base health reduced from 600 to 570. A little bit weaker early game. Health per boon increased from 32 to 34. So same health pretty much at late game, but a little bit weaker early. It's not a big deal. 30 health is not going to change much, and you get 2 extra every level. Fixed shoulder charge sensitivity bug. This is a bug, who cares? Seismic impact now allows for some very minor movement to help nudge around small objects. I think it's good. Overall, this probably just keeps Abrams about the same, maybe a little bit better, depending on how much of an impact the ultimate change has. Because movement could be massive, and if you can hit somebody you couldn't hit before, that can win a game, right? So in certain situations, this is going to be a massive buff. Overall, it's just going to be roughly the same. Bebop. Sticky bomb growth increased from 2.5 to 4% per stack. Don't get hit by the bump. Bomb now loses 2 stacks in death. Kill Bebop. Bomb now has 15 max stacks, which means he's not going to have infinite damage. I often gave him a lot of stacks. And, I mean, now it's not that big of a deal if you do. But, I mean, obviously still going to hurt. Hook range increased from 25 to 30 meters. I think that's what it was before. So, I mean, it's going to be annoying, but it is what it is. Hook now also hits enemy troopers, killing them instantly. That's huge. That means you can hide behind troops, and you will be safe. Fix some case where Hook would grab players from around corners. This could be a massive nerf. We don't know how much of a change this is going to do. And we don't know if it's going to be much smaller, the Hook, right? If it's a lot harder to hit the Hook, this could make Bebop very weak or very difficult to play. Hyper Beam movement slow reduced from 30% to 25%. Hyper Beam duration no longer scales with Spirit Power. Hyper Beam duration increased from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. Uppercut now applies a 15% fire rate slow in the landing radius for 5 seconds, scales with Spirit Power, 0.2. If you're going Spirit Bebop and you have a lot of Spirit Power and you manage to get an uppercut into 4 people or something like that, and you can destroy the fire rate. This could be game winning, this could be fight winning, it could be massive. I think it's niche and it's not going to matter in most situations. I think the Hyper Beam, not the biggest of deals. I think it's probably just a good change, that's nice. We'll see how this works in game. Overall, I think this is a good change to Bebop. I think it makes him more stable as a hero. Makes him less overpowered in certain situations and less useless in others, right? So it just keeps him a little bit more stable. Dynamo Quantum Entanglement. Cooldown increased from 12.5 to 15 seconds. Quantum Entanglement Tier 3 now also reduces cooldown by 4 seconds. So it's better late game, weaker early game. Okay, cool. Doesn't change much for the Dynamo, he's going to be the same. Fixed Kinetic Pulse Tier 2 Tooltip. So who cares, okay. Great Talon. Arrow cycle time increased from 0.45 seconds to 0.55 seconds. Overall DPS unchanged. This just means you shoot your arrows slower. I mean, I wonder how this is gonna work in game. The DPS is gonna be the same, so you have the same damage, but it's definitely enough. Fixed rain of arrows alternate cast, causing you to hit the ground soon after cast. Don't care, it's just a nice hotfix. Fixed guided owl clanging when nearby objectives during cast. Again, doesn't matter too much, just nice hotfix. Fire rate no longer scales with spirit power. I don't think Great Talon cared too much. I don't think there's a big change. I think it'll be fine regardless. Base bullet damage now scales with spirit power. I think you would rather have base bullet damage than you would have fire rate. So this should be a big buff to Great Talon. He's going to do a lot more damage. If you got spirit, you're also going to hurt with your auto attacks. Guarded Owl 3-second grace period for kill increased to 4 seconds. Fixed Guarded Owl grace period still requiring that he gets the kill rather than the target is dying. Nice. Move speed no longer scales with spirit power. That's going to be interesting. Base stamina increased from 3 to 4. I think maybe he can be viable now because the bullet damage increase, it scales with spirit power. If you have a lot of spirit power, that could be a lot of damage. Say you have 100 to 160. That's 10 to 16 more damage on bullet damage, right? This could be a big deal. I'm unsure how much it's going to change, so maybe he's viable now. He was a D tier hero before. He was pretty bad. And I think this could bump him up to like an A-B tier if it's significant. We have to wait and see, but it's interesting. Haze, fixation max stacks increased from 30 to 40. Fixation tier 3 reduced from 0.2 to plus 0.15 damage. So a little bit weaker, okay. Bullet dance no longer grants plus 15% fire rate. Bullet dance base ability now grants 2 targets hit per shot. Huge. Bullet dance base ability no longer grants plus 25% evasion. Bullet dance tier 3, so if you max it, fully upgraded, grants 40% evasion and plus 2 bullet dance speed. This might mean people are gonna go Haze ultimate build again, and it might be super powerful. Also, her late game should be better. I don't know, like people stop building ultimate build because it kind of sucked because you just died. You ultimated and then we just killed you. This might change that. We'll see what happens in game, but there is a chance this revives the ultimate build. Infernus Catalyst damage amp reduced from 25 to 20%, not a big deal. Catalyst tier 3 damage amp increased from 15 to 20%, so equally strong late game. You don't really skill this one, so it's going to take a long time for it to be equally strong. But again, not a big deal. I think a bigger deal is the Spirit Lifesteal nerf that we read at the start of the patch notes. This is not going to be it. But yeah, Infernus is definitely nerfed a little bit from that, but I'm not sure if it's enough to really make him weak. But he did use to stack a lot of different lifesteals. He had Enduring Spirit, he had Spirit Lifesteal, he also got Leech. So a lot of different sources, and Soul Shredder too, right? A lot of different healing sources, which is now nerfed overall because there's diminishing returns. Ivy, improved default camera position. Take flight control keys now similar to Vindicta. Fix some issues with control on take flight when near a wall. Overall nice fixes, nothing else. Lady Geist, fixed a bug that could cause some units to take more damage than intended with Essence Bomb, then multiple targets are hit. Life Drain can now be alternate cast on allied heroes. Add a double tap accidental protection for Life Drain to help against instant cancellations. Malice slow duration reduced from 6 seconds to 4 seconds. Malice amp duration reduced from 16 seconds to 13 seconds. Overall, making Malice weaker is huge. Malice is, in my opinion, overpowered. Extremely overpowered, actually. You can now see how many Malice stacks you have on you as an opponent. I didn't see this in game. I played a game today after the patch. Couldn't see it. But if it's there, that's good. If it's not, that kind of sucks because it's hard to know. I don't think this changes anything too much. It's kind of nice that it's 13 seconds duration now in the application of damage, but I think it's still too long. It should be something like 8 or 9 or 10 seconds, not 13. It's so long. I don't think it's changed much for Geist. She's going to be the exact same. Nothing changes. Last, base bullet damage reduced from 10 to 9. Flock heal versus heroes reduced from 80% to 70%. Flock heal versus creeps reduced from 30% to 25%. Last is... I consider Lash in good balance. He's a little bit too strong. This kind of brings him down a notch. But overall, he's a good hero. He does what he needs to do. He can still do that. He's a little bit weaker, a little bit less damage, a little bit less healing. Good changes overall, nothing there. Now we come to the dreaded changes. I hate these. I think McGinnis should be nerfed to the ground. Sadly, that's not what happened. Now let's go through it. McGinnis no longer has plus 25% spirit resist. Now has plus 15% bullet resist. That's a good change. Makes him weaker. I like this. Now comes the problem. McGinnis mini turrets tier 1 no longer grants plus 1 charge. Mini turrets duration reduced from 30 seconds to 24 seconds. Mini turrets cooldown reduced from 30 seconds to 24 seconds. So basically you can put a new turret faster. Doesn't last as long. Turrets health scaling reduced from 30% to 20%. A little bit weaker. Turrets recharge time reduced from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. Cast range increased from 15 meters to 20 meters, so they can just pound you from very far away. Turret damage reduction against troopers neutrals increased from 40% to 50%. Damage reduction against objectives increased from 60% to 70%. These turrets are going to be nuts. You have to kill the turrets. Fix ricochet not bouncing off mini turrets. This is nice. Mini turret spawn time reduced from 1 second to 0.25 seconds. Mini turret attack delay reduced from 0.35 to 0.2 seconds. Mirage radius increased from 4.5 to 5 meters. So basically McGinnis is gonna be a monster. I think McGinnis is overpowered. I think he's gonna be even better now. If I see McGinnis, I'm just walking away. He's in the mid lane, I go side lane. He's in the side lane, I go mid lane. That's just how it's gonna be. I do not want to play against this McGinnis. Mirage. Tornado now uses a range for its travel distance instead of a travel duration. Scales with range increase. So basically, you don't want to get duration extender. You want to get mystic reach. That's pretty much it. I don't think this changes too much. I mean, it's hard to get purple items on Mirage in some cases. So you can buy reach now, but again, not a big deal. I don't even think you care too much about Tornado being slightly longer. Mirage, enemies that have already been hit by fast scarabs now lets the next scarab projectile pass through them. This change is massive. Before it was very hard to hit 4 scarabs. It was very hard to hit multiple even. Because everyone's hitbox was really big. So if you hit somebody, everyone else could just hide behind them. Especially in the laning phase, people are hiding behind creeps and you couldn't hit people. Now it's going to be so much easier to hit somebody with a scarab. This is a massive buff and you won't really see the impact unless you play a lot on Mirage. You won't know it. Jin's mark base damage reduced from 6 to 12. Overall, a pretty big nerf to the laning phase. However, Jin's mark scaling from spirit power increased from 0.4 to 0.55. Which means if you get 26 spirit power, it's going to be equal to before. If you get 100 spirit power, it's going to have 12 more damage. So this makes AP or spirit Mirage a lot stronger. It's going to scale very, very strongly. And with the new statues, which gives you plus 5 spirit power late game, it's going to be massive. Because every single time you get one of those, it's going to make a difference in damage. Mirage Jin's mark reveal duration increased from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. Mirage Traveler now cause your camera to move to the destination during the channel. If you ultimate somewhere, you can see what's going on. It's nice. Before you kind of just lost. It sucked before. Now it's going to be really nice. Mirage Traveler tier 1 is now plus 2 movement speed. Before it's cooldown. This means you want to skill the ultimate early. You want that move speed and it's cheap. You only have to use 1 level up to get the ultimate. Very cheap. Plus 2 move speed is huge. You definitely can skill it once. Then tier 2 is now cooldown, it's 30% or 30 seconds instead of 20 seconds. You don't care. Tier 3, however, is 30% fire rate instead of 20% fire rate, which is huge. I don't know what to do on Mirage right now skill-wise, because the 2 is better, a lot, the scarabs, and the ultimate is a lot better. So you kind of want to skill everything in Mirage. All the abilities are really good now. So I don't know what to do. Tier 2 ultimate kind of sucks. But the rest is good, so maybe you want to max ultimate? The 30% fire rate is kind of huge. You gank somebody, that could be a big deal. Or maybe you just want to level it once. I guess we'll see in game, but I think people might even have different playstyles on this hero now. And skill differently. And they could all be viable. Mo and Krill. Combo tier 1 now grants plus 30 bullet resist. Basically, you see a Mo and Krill, he goes on you, he's going to be very tanky. He eats somebody, he's mega tanky. Be very careful. He is a monster. He's already kind of weak and now he might be good. I don't know. He might actually be pretty good now. It's very hard to kill somebody. Before, if Mo ultimated somebody, you just killed him and he was very sad. But now he's gonna survive that, so that's a massive buff. This is actually a really big deal. Anything that has to do with plus resistances is massive. Paradox. Bullet growth per boon increased from 0.33 to 0.45. Massive damage increase. Time of bullet duration reduced from 1 second to 0.7. I assume that means when you put the wall down, bullets still came through the wall. It's just going to come through the wall a little bit faster. Paradox ultimate swap cooldown increased from 48 to 65 seconds. Range reduced from 30 to 25 meters. Tier 1 now also reduces the cooldown by 15 seconds. So basically the cooldown is not really changed. Like it's going to be the same because people just can skill it once, right? Tier 3 now increases range by 20 meters. So if you played against a Bebop, his hook was 25 meters. It's going to be 30, but it was 25. Paradox's ultimate is going to be 45 meters. He can literally ultimate you across the entire map. I think this is bad. I think Paradox is one of the best tiers in the game. He is one of the harder tiers to play, and he's a playmaker. Which means the lower elo you are, the lower rank you are, the worse he is. So I think it's going to be a monster in high rated games. I'm kind of scared. Paradox pulse grenade radius reduced from 7 to 6 meters. Grenade damage amplification per stack increased from 5 to 6%. Tier 3 no longer increased damage amp by 2%. Tier 3 now also increased the radius by 1 meter per pulse. So the pulse is going to be big. If it gets to stack up, it's going to be really, really big. This could make it enormous. You get Mystic Reach on this thing. It could be an enormous grenade. Like, I don't know if I like this change. It could be really, really big depending on how it interacts with that ability. But if it, or item. If the item Mystic Reach interacts with it properly, then I think this grenade is going to be massive and scary. Pocket shotgun fall off start reduced from 22 meters to 16. Good. Nerfed his damage a lot. Pocket enchanter's satchel. Damage now respects line of sight. Also good. He's overpowered, so any nerf to him is good. Enchanter's satchels now show an AoE indicator for Pocket while channeling. Affliction DPS spirit power scaling reduced from 0.4 to 0.34. I mean, if you get hit by Affliction, you're still going to have to base. You're going to be low. Unless you have debuff reducer. You're just going to take too much damage. Pocket Barrage radius reduced from 6.5 to 4.5. Barrage tier 3 now also increased radius by 2 meters. Basically, Barrage is super overpowered in lane. It doesn't matter if he hits you. He's just going to damage you anyways. He can miss. Now he actually has to aim it. Pocket of Wall got nerfed extremely hard this patch. Like, this is a big nerf to Pocket. Actually a massive nerf. 7. Base regen increased from 1.5 to 3. Nice. He had the worst regen in the game, I think, or second worst. 7. Movement speed scaling with spirit power reduced from 0.028 to 0.02. I don't think this matters. He's already fast. He's going to be fast anyways. Lightning Ball tier 3 increased from plus 1 meter to plus 2 meters. The Lightning Ball is going to be so big. Like, you don't understand. I think 7 might be viable just because of this change. His ball with improved reach is going to be enormous. When last patch, when it went from 5 meters to 6 meters and you put reach on that thing, it was already big. Now it's going to be even bigger. I want to play 7. I think he was slightly weak. This is going to change that a lot. His movement speed is slower, but I don't think you care about that. Shiv. Slice and Dice Spirit Damage scaling increased from 1.2 to 1.3. Slice and Dice Tier 1 improved from minus 3.75 seconds to minus 4 seconds. So overall above. The Rage's decay rate reduced from 0.35 to 0.25. Massive buff. Buff for duration increased from 7 seconds to 12 seconds. How long it stays before starting to decay. Shiv is already one of the best tiers in the game, I think. He's very powerful. He's very hard to play, but very, very good. And now it's going to be super easy, or maybe not even super easy, but a lot easier to keep Rage. The biggest problem Shiv players had was they lost Rage. They could not keep the Rage up. But now that is going to be much easier. And if you keep your Rage up, Shiv is going to be terrifying. I think he might even be close to overpowered with this buff, but we'll see. Vindicta reverted recent fall of damage changes. Vindicta fall off increased from 58 meters to 64 meters. Bullet damage growth per boon reduced from 0.76 or 79 to 0.55. Flight duration no longer scales with spirit power. Flight tier 2 now increases flight duration by 6 seconds. Flight bonus move speed above base now scales at 50% effectiveness. No longer has minus 10% bullet resist. Health growth per boon reduced from 20 to 15. Gun cycle time increased from 0.22 to 0.26. Stake duration reduced from 2 seconds to 1.75. I think stake, if you got staked before, it felt like a death sentence. Now you might actually live, but I mean, it's not a big difference in time, but you might barely be able to get out. Assassination bonus souls is now unsecured. That's huge. It actually means if she kills somebody, you can kill her and take back the money. That's a double-edged sword for her, and it's very scary because you don't want to assassinate somebody if you're about to die. It's kind of scary. Shooting while flying now has similar speed impact as on the ground. Good, so she's getting slowed down when she's flying. I hate how she's flying right now. She's too fast. Flight air acceleration decreased a little bit. Again, slower speed in the air. Good. Craft familiar percentage damage no longer affects mid-boss. Don't really care. Who cares? Overall, Vindicta got nerfed a lot. I think Vindicta was good. I think she was very powerful, and these nerfs are going to be massive. She's probably still going to be viable, but she will be weaker, like a lot. She will be much weaker. She went from probably an A tier to like a C tier. Maybe B. Very big difference. Viscous, another hero that needs a massive nerf. This guy is too strong in his ultimate. He's so powerful. Goo Ball no longer triggers unhit effects while in Feral Shift. Okay, nice. Fixed superior stamina dash count not working with Goo Ball. Okay. Goo Ball stun duration reduced from 1 second to 0.7. Again, a good thing. You don't get stunned along. Nice. Splatter base damage reduced from 100 to 90. Tier 2 reduced from plus 70 to plus 60. So a minus 20 damage nerf, right? Spirit damage scaling increased from 1.5 to 1.9. It's going to take you a long time to get the same damage that you had before. You could potentially get more than before if you go full AP, but like, it's going to take you a long time to keep the same damage. Fixed instant cast not working for Polypunch. I think overall, this is not a big enough nerf for Viscous. It is definitely a nerf, especially the stun duration, but he's still unkillable. He pressed the ultimate and you can't kill him. So, I mean, that kind of sucks. Warden. Alchemical Flask cooldown reduced from 14 seconds to 12 seconds. Alchemical Flask damage increased from 55 to 65. That's a big damage buff. 10 more damage every single time you throw the flask. That adds up. That's massive. Tier 1 Flask is now plus 1 stamina reduction. Okay, so you can eat people's stamina. Nice. Alchemical Flask Tier 2 is now plus 50 damage. Which means you're literally like a bomber man. You can kill people with your bombs, especially in laning phase. I think this makes Warden go from being niche, kind of weak, to maybe being overpowered. Because his flask not only reduces stamina, it also does 50 more damage. That's crazy. One last stand channel duration reduced from 2.2 seconds to 2 seconds. Last stand's range increased from 12 meters to 13 meters. It's a little bit nice. That's kind of nice. Not a big deal, but it's kind of nice. Wraith card trick spirit scale reduced from 1.2 to 1.1. Card trick generation via melee reduced by 50%. Another Wraith nerf, she needs it. I think this is overall... This kind of makes Wraith less fun because people were going melee builds because you could start up your cards really fast. Like you could generate them. You won't be able to go melee builds anymore. It kind of makes Wraith less interesting to build. Maybe it's a good change overall. Like she was overpowered, but I feel like this makes her less fun. So I don't know if I like the change or not. She's definitely OP, she needed the nerfs, but maybe this is not it. Yamato. I think his character is extremely overpowered. Hero is broken. Should be massively nerfed. Let's see what they did. Power Slash cooldown increased from 8.5 to 10.5 seconds. Nice. Power Slash tier 2 now also reduced cooldown by 2 seconds. So same if you level it up. Yamato's Shadow Transformation no longer grants you bullet assist. Bullet and spirit assist. Okay, nice. I mean, he's invincible, but kind of nice. You can kill him easier in it after it goes off. Shadow Transformation duration reduced from 4.5 seconds to 4 seconds. I mean, it's a little bit less duration. I think it's still going to be annoying to play against. He's still going to go double refresher or have the refresher. He's going to have 2 ultimates. He's going to be unkillable. He's going to be super annoying. And he's still overpowered. This doesn't change anything. Anyways, I hope you guys like going through the patch notes with me. My voice is a little bit fucked, but I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was good. I'll see you guys in Ranked. Ranked's going to be fun. And thank you guys for watching. Peace.